Here's Navarro on the run. Navarro's going to keep it. Navarro for 6. Touchdown, Bobcat.
I can feel I had a hard time staying in my own lane.
Oh, my goodness.
Brett Murdoch, pick 6. Harvath inside the 30 to 20. Blake Harvath will score.
And Mendoza takes a big hit. He never saw it coming. Trey White got in there.
There's his man, Rucker. And nobody's going to catch him. Goodbye.
Intercepted.
Tyree Skipper. Touchdown.
Telly again, why not? A step forward and make it 2 for Telly.
Quarterback keeper. Showing off the speed. Steps on the gas. Untouched.
The G5 Hive. All G5 all the time.
Welcome to the G5 Hive Live, where we bring you all the G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. Guys, last week we had our first episode to kick off the 2025 college football season. We covered our conference winners, dark horses, and of course our G5 representative for the 2025 playoffs. But this week will be the first week that we get to preview games. Week 0 is upon us, baby. Woo! If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching us on X, give us a follow, like, or retweet. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. I am Luke. I'm joined by my co-host, Justice. And tonight, we will cover the Hero Sports G5 Top 25 poll, our top 5. The biggest differences. What did we have too high? What did they have too high? We bring you up to speed on news around the G5. There was a lot of quarterbacks news getting started, being out there, and then injuries. And, of course, we set you guys up for success with our Week 0 previews. Justice, let's buckle up and dive right into things. And let's start with our Hero Sports G5 Top 25 poll.
Well, I think one thing we need to talk about before we get to the G5 Top 25 poll, our Worker Bee series, man, it's almost done. Utah State dropped today. We have one more team left to drop, and that is Kent State, and should be dropping here any day now. But we've basically wrapped up the series, year 2 of the Worker Bee series. It seemed like, a lot of folks loved it, a lot of the fans, a lot of supporters, the teams themselves, the players, all really, really loved the series. I know from my perspective, it seemed like it was bigger and better than a year ago. Our guests provided great insight that you can't get anywhere else, to cover all these teams. I'd say overall, we got the shout out on the Solid Verbal for those team previews. So I would say overall, it was an extremely successful second season of the Worker Bee series. It's going to be hard to kind of outdo that, I think, for year 3, but we're certainly up for giving it a try. For those that are tuning in for the first time and aren't really familiar, this is the second summer, fall, spring, whatever you want to call it, we've done a team preview for every single G5 team. This year, we included Washington State and Oregon State. So we had 68 G5 teams once we finished with Kent State that we will have completed. And it's just to kind of give all the listeners, more information, everything they need to know, very in-depth previews, deep dives, offense, defense, special teams, offensive line. We've talked punters, kickers, long snappers. We kind of do it all to kind of bring you the most comprehensive and in-depth team preview we can for all these G5 teams. And then in addition to that, I don't know, we probably did 20-ish player interviews, also available on our YouTube. So if you haven't really kind of had an opportunity to check the Worker Bee series out or the player interviews, we have playlists set up on our YouTube channel where you can find all that good information. So if you haven't, please check those out.
Good call. I mean, you said bigger and better. 68 teams. We had 66 last year, so we had Washington State and Oregon State. So you're right. It did feel bigger this year, at least by 2 teams. And how could I forget, I wanted to just deep dive right into things. We got Billy Tuesday. He's here, like always. He says, heard there's a rumor there's football in 5 days. Absolutely correct, Billy. Absolutely correct. I just wanted to get right into it. Justice, had to put the brakes on a little bit. And how can I forget the thing that's pretty much consumed both of our times and our lives for the last, 137 days. But who's counting? It's been great. It's been bigger than ever. Like you said, the shout out on the solid verbal. That I just feel like we just grew a whole bunch this year. So, I want to take this time, and I speak for you too, Justice. I'm going to say we appreciate all the love and the growth that we've seen from this series over the course of the year too. So we want to say thank you to everyone who consumed our content, and I hope you all continue to consume our content as the season rolls on. Justice, can we buckle up now?
One thing I wanted to add real quick. You said 137 days. there have been, once Kent State releases, it will be like 90 new pieces of content, whether it's a team preview, player interview, etc. A new video on our YouTube page in the last 137 days. That's a lot of content in a very, very short period of time. So, and to your point, a lot of work. My wife is not a fan.
Neither's mine.
Hopefully things will get more normal for us now that we're not doing so much content in such a short time frame. But I think we can kind of buckle up now. But before we get into the Hero Sports G5 Top 25 poll, I wanted to take a look at the AP Top 25 poll, and look at the preseason AP Top 25. So there's only one team in the G5 that is represented in the top 25, and I think everyone could kind of guess who that is. It's Boise State. Boise State comes in at number 25 in that Associated Press preseason poll. But there are several other teams that got receiving votes in the receiving votes category. So we run those down. We see Tulane come in next for the G5 at number 33 with 23 votes. After Tulane, you get UNLV coming in at number 35 with 21 votes. Toledo, number 36 with 13 votes. James Madison, number 38, 9 votes. Navy, number 42 with 5 votes. Liberty, also at number 42 with 5 votes. Army comes in at 47th with 2 votes. And rounding out the G5 is Louisiana, number 48 with 1 vote. I'd say the only thing that kind of really surprises me is that UNLV got so many votes. And technically they're the third ranked G5 team. I don't know. I guess it surprises me, given all the change at UNLV, new coaching staff, massive amount of turnover on the roster. But I feel like oftentimes these polls really kind of defer to what happened last year. And UNLV was one of the best teams in the G5 last year. So from that perspective, I guess it makes sense. But at least for my expectations or what I expect to happen in 2025, that one kind of sticks out to me. Anything stick out to you, Luke?
Not really. I mean, Army being up there at 47, even with 2 votes, is a little bit surprising just based off of what they lose. But like you said, it's a lot of last year stuff. So, I mean, I guess you could say having Tulane on there because, we think Jake Ratliff is going to be the quarterback coming into the year, or at least start very, very soon. So Tulane being this high up there with the unknown at quarterback is interesting, but same thing can be said for UNLV and JMU and whatnot. So, like you said, it's more of a reflection of last year. It is what it is. it will get all messed up after week 1.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a little surprised. Not surprised, it doesn't shock me, but like given the fact that it leans so heavily on years past, that Toledo, is as high as they are. I mean, I know they're one of our favorite teams in the MAC, but I guess it's impressive to see the general voters kind of feel that way as well. All right. Well, we will get to the main topic here, and that is the Hero Sports G5 Top 25 poll. We teased this last week when Colt Poole was on the show with us from Hero Sports. It was released. We had a show on Monday. This poll was released last Wednesday. We are one of the voters in this poll. What you see on the screen is the consensus poll. Like I said, we teased it a little bit last week. Colton mentioned, I believe there's, I think, two voters from every conference at least, and then as well as some other national media that cover the G5. And I believe like the 2 voters from each G5 conference are beat reporters for a specific team. So a pretty good, gathering of folks in the G5 that, are passionate about G5 and kind of know what's going on, so to speak. But for those listening at podcast form, I'll kind of run down those on YouTube. You can see the teams here on the screen. But the consensus poll for the Hero Sports G5 Top 25, of course, coming in at number 1 is Boise State. One thing I'd love to ask Colt is if that was unanimous. I would expect it would be, but the article didn't say that, and I forgot to ask Colton about that. Number 2, the Tulane Green Wave. Number 3, the Dukes of James Madison. Coming in at number 4, Memphis Tigers. Number 5, the Navy Midshipmen. Number 6, the UNLV Rebels. Number 7, the Toledo Rockets. 8, UTSA Roadrunners. 9, Liberty Flames. 10, the Black Knights of Army. 11, the South Florida Bulls. 12, San Jose State Spartans. 13, the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. 14, the Texas State Bobcats. Number 15, the Ohio Bobcats. Number 16, Georgia Southern Eagles. 17, Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. 18, the Buffalo Bulls. 19, the Miami Redhawks. 20, Fresno State Bulldogs. 21, the Connecticut Huskies. 22, the Colorado State Rams. 23, the South Alabama Jaguars. 24, the East Carolina Pirates. And rounding out the poll at number 25, the North Texas Mean Green. It's kind of interesting. We get 2 teams, 2 Bobcats and 2 Bulls in the preseason G5 Top 25 poll.
Well, I want to first. We got Double O'Neill in the chat. You won't hear a peep from Josh Pate, Joe Klatt, or anybody else when it comes to talking the G5. Appreciate the love. No one else covers the G5 like we do. I'll say that's a little bit different. And Matthew, he says Boise State deserves to be in the top 25. Agree there. And then, of course, Billy. No ODU. We'll get to that in a little bit. Billy.
ODU is in our votes, Billy. Yeah, they did. They were in the others receiving votes category, but yeah, Luke's going to cover that in a second. For our votes that we submitted, our top 5 was Boise State at number 1, Navy Midshipmen at number 2, the Tulane Green Wave at number 3, the San Jose State Spartans at number 4, and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers at number 5. So you can see right away we've got some differences between what we think the top 5 is versus what the consensus agreed to. What else do we have for differences there, Luke?
So I'll let you pick here, Justice. Do you want to start with what we were lower than consensus on or higher than consensus on?
I mean, I think I'd rather talk about the higher ones first, but
all right. So we'll talk about the higher ones. Obviously right there in the top 5, we have San Jose State at number 4, and here they're at number 12. I think you and I have both picked them to at least make the Mountain West championship game, and I think you picked them to win last week, right? Or is it just me?
I think we both. I mean, I can't remember what I said last week, but I'm pretty sure we both picked San Jose State to win the Mountain West. And we actually caught some flack over that.
Oh boy, did we ever
on YouTube? We caught a lot of flack over that on YouTube. Obviously, we're all people. We all have our own opinions. That's the joy of people being able to have free thought and have opinions. But I gotta tell you, if you look at that San Jose State Mountain West schedule, it doesn't get any easier. It's a pretty easy schedule for San Jose State, and they're a pretty talented team. I think I said last week that Coach Ken is going to be a candidate for some P4 coaching vacancies next year. They return a lot on offense. They return, some key pieces on defense. I think they're after I put my money where my mouth was. I'm pretty sure last week I said, hey, if you can bet San Jose State to make the Mountain West championship game, you should absolutely bet it. And we had someone in the comments say you can bet it. I think it was DraftKings. And I most certainly did. When we got done with the show, I went and put some money on San Jose State to make the championship game. That feels like looking at their schedule, that feels like such a safe bet to me.
No Boise, no UNLV, right? So I think we will see them rise up these rankings. If you want tomorrow's news today, just stop here at the G5 Hive. This was more of a flag plant for us. You've got a whole bunch of people here at the bottom, in your top, 20 to 25. We put Central Michigan at number 25. They're receiving votes. They're not in this top 25. They're just a team that I'm very intrigued about. And you got a dual OC. You got one from Grandview, NAIA in Des Moines, Iowa. You got another one that comes in from Eastern Washington. Yep. So they can run the ball. They can throw the ball. They've got all these different minds. And head coach from Army. So they've got a lot of opportunity here. And again, their schedule very easy for the MAC. They are probably going to be when October hits, November hits, October I think it is when MAC hits, and they start with no, it's November because it's right around Halloween is when they play Western Michigan, and there's a good chance that they're undefeated in the MAC and they have a chance to make a MAC championship game. So we kind of wanted to put them in there because we see a path for them to rise up the rankings. If they do continue to win, it'll probably be a while before they actually make the consensus top 25.
That's probably the single most team. I'm just super excited to kind of see, or I'm intrigued, I guess maybe the better word, intrigued to see what that offense looks like, because it's such a contrast between the three individuals and what they, what we've seen in the past, from a triple option to a pass happy team to, a more traditional smash mouth, running offense. And so I'm just kind of super intrigued to see what that offense is going to look like there for the Chippewas.
And Billy Tuesday says the top of the MAC seems strong. Well, let's keep that going. We have Ohio at number 7 in ours, number 15 in the consensus, and we have Miami of Ohio. We just call him Miami. We know the real Miami. We have him 12 versus a consensus of 19. So again, 2 other MAC teams that we're higher on than consensus. Honestly, if there is a G5 representative and it comes out of the MAC, I will not be surprised at all. I think the MAC is a conference that will be super tough this year, but not to the point where they cannibalize each other like the Sun Belt, and you won't get a representative like that. I think there's a lot of opportunity here, and I don't think that the MAC gets the love from everybody else that I think they should, especially this year.
Well, and the one thing about the MAC, that, you automatically think, oh, well, it's going to be tough for them, is they typically play some very, very tough out-of-conference schedules. And that's true. But that also gives them opportunity, right? We're not talking about week 1 tonight, but I'm pretty sure Ohio, for example, plays Rutgers week one, right? They go play Rutgers. They win that game. They get a win over the P4. And so, there's opportunities for them to show they can compete and beat P4 teams. They just have to do it. They'll have to do it in this regular season, and to be able to, kind of have that chance to represent. But to me, like we talked about last week, there's kind of two pathways. I feel like for a G5 to the college football playoffs. One pathway is to kind of have an easy schedule and win all your games. The other pathway is you play a couple P4s, you beat those P4s, and you show that you belong. And you might have a loss or two, but you've played tough competition, and you have a good record as well. Those are kind of like the two pathways I feel like, and the MAC certainly generally kind of fits that second pathway where there's lots of opportunities for them to compete against the P4. They'll just have to win those games.
And then Billy was wondering where it was. Here it is. We have ODU at number 11, just on the outside of the top 10 looking in, while the voters have us or have ODU is just receiving votes. This is obviously a team that we are pretty high on, and I guess I'll take the floor, Justice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super high on them. I think they make the Sun Belt championship game. I picked them to win the Sun Belt last week. I really feel like the Sun Belt East kind of boils down to Old Dominion and James Madison for me. And I think the East is stronger than the West, and so I'd go with the East to win the Sun Belt. But yeah, I think I don't want to rehash everything I said last week, but Old Dominion, this is the most talented roster under head coach Ricky Ronnie, and they have depth. They got Colton Joseph, Quinn Hinnackel at quarterback, Markai James, Catravian Hargrove, Devin Roche at running back. The receivers is like a JUCO All-American list. They had it better. I mean, if you looked at that JUCO All-American game, JUCO championship game last year between Hutchinson and Iowa Western, 6 of those players that played in that championship game are on Old Dominion's roster. But yeah, I mean, the receivers are tall too. Like, I think there's only one receiver that's under 6'1" or 6'2". So a lot of tall, talented receivers. Best linebacking group in the G5, like by far, probably a top 5 linebacking group in all of college football. They get back All-American Jason Henderson to what was it's a strong group without him. Getting him back just makes it that much stronger. And so, like, all these teams that we have that are higher than consensus, San Jose, Central Michigan, Ohio, Miami, Ohio, ODU, I feel good about them. Like, I don't have a problem being driving the train, so to speak, right? I have zero problem or heartburn driving the train for those teams and why they deserve to be in the G5 or in the G5 top 25 poll, I should say. And so I think, I don't know, like, I feel like because we do all these team previews, we have such a deep understanding of these teams that, like, it allows us to kind of do some projection, and we're not solely relying upon, hey, this is what we saw last year. And so, which is what I think what you get a lot, especially in these preseason polls, is really kind of what happened last year, what did we see last year, and that's kind of how folks, I think, tend to vote because that's what they know.
I agree. Now let's talk about our lower than consensus. Fresno State here is number 20. We did not have them ranked. I think that's going to be, you got EJ Warner coming in. Didn't look great at Rice. I mean, they're going to have to run the ball a lot. We'll see what that team looks like.
It's
UNLV.
New coaching staff, right? whole new coaching staff at Fresno State. A lot of turnover on the roster. Smash mouth running the ball and play good defense. I can see them being ranked by the end of the season. I'm just hesitant to say that today.
UNLV, they're at number 6. We had them at number 24. Made them barely cracking the top 25. Again, another team that we got a lot of flack for.
That's probably the one we got the most flack over, right?
Absolutely. It was UNLV. It's like, hey, you got a new staff. You got brought in. I mean, granted, it's a lot of talent. You brought in all these guys. Now, will they mesh together? I don't know. It's like it's throwing spaghetti at a wall. It might work. It might not.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the term I used last week was this. To me, it feels like the island of misfit toys. I'm a big Rudolph guy, so it's probably one of my favorites. But yeah, the island of misfit toys to me is kind of like a good description of UNLV. They bring in so many Power 4, highly transfers that were high recruits. They came into college football and they came out of high school, and they had not panned out anywhere were in any of their previous stops. And so like I think you can say, like today you can say, hey, it's a collection of some potential big talent, but the biggest question mark is how is that talent going to gel? Are they going to be able to gel? Is there going to be too many, I don't know what the right word is, prima donnas or too many egos, etc., and the team just doesn't like gel? I don't know. I like Dan Mullen as a head coach, but yeah, I don't know. I can't in good conscience put UNLV, in my top 10, and I can't pick them to win the Mountain West. I mean, again, you look at, those are the things we caught so much flack about, was picking San Jose State to win the Mountain West and not picking UNLV. But in good conscience, I just can't do that. Like, I will be happy to be wrong, but I will be sitting here today. I would be shocked if it's not Boise State and San Jose State in the Mountain West Championship game.
Next, we had Memphis. We had them at number 10. The voters had them at number 4. Kevin, thank you. Yes, San Jose Spartans could be a real sleeper team. They were my G5 representative. So Memphis, they're number 4. Again, I feel like this is more of a thing from last year than it is for this year. Brendan Lewis, we'll get into the news and notes a little bit later, but he gets named starting quarterback. Usually they bring in a transfer running back. That's kind of what they do. They develop their quarterbacks. They develop their wide receivers. They bring in a running back. They didn't do that. They brought in a quarterback. It just seems a little bit different. Again, they might piece it. They're similar to UNLV in where they're kind of like piecing it together with got a lot of different people in here. So that was probably our difference. Quick shout out, not in the chat, but I know he's watching. Kyle Hibbing, shout out. BVU baseball teammate. I know you're watching there somewhere. Okay. Off to you, Justice.
We had Liberty at 18 in our poll versus number 9 here. And again, I think that's kind of people just kind of automatically put Liberty at top of Conference USA. Yep. We have Western Kentucky. That was, I guess, that's one thing I guess we didn't have in our higher than consensus, but we're definitely higher than consensus. We had them in our top 5. They were number 4 for us, and they're number 17 here. Whereas the consensus really likes Liberty much more than we do. We talked about Liberty ad nauseum last week. I don't know. I don't think from a pure talent standpoint they're as talented as they were a year ago. But I do think it's pretty clear to me Western Kentucky, Liberty are the cream of the crop in Conference USA. We just happen to prefer Western Kentucky over Liberty for this season.
And then I guess our other one is Louisiana. We do not have ranked, and they're number 13 in this one. Obviously, was it you say 49 in the AP voters, getting one vote. So a team, again, new quarterback, but also comes from LSU, Walker Howard. You got Shelton Sampson, also an LSU wide receiver, comes in. So they, definitely have potential, but we're not as high on them this year as they were last.
Yeah, it's a team I'd rather take a wait and see approach, and see like how things kind of shake out, like you said, given the new quarterback.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. If on X, give us a follow. And if you're listening to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, please subscribe and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. We are so grateful for the immense amount of support we have received, and we sincerely thank each and every one of you. Be sure to join us next week as we discuss what happened in Week 0. We look forward to the full slate of G5 games for Week 1 of the 2025 season. And as always, bring you up to date on all the latest news and happenings in the world of G5 college football. But until then, we are the G5 Hive.